Hey you. Hey, I know you're listening. You should go follow us on Instagram and Twitter at BOAFcast, BOAFCAST. Go to Facebook, click that like button, and follow us there too. And then check out our website, bookedonafeeling.com, because we'd really appreciate it if you did all that. Okay, love you. Bye. Have fun.
Do it or I'll bust Tony's kneecaps. Okay. I think it's starting to record. So why don't you...
Are we working?
I don't know.
Let's not be too hasty. Still, right. I think he's rather tasty. I can't do that part.
And we're off.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Look at that chestnut stallion just taking the lead. I don't know how horse sports go.
How did you say horse sports?
Horse sports.
Well, this is Booked on a Feeling.
Hello. We're
finally
back.
We're back and better than ever.
Yes, we actually legitimately we are better than ever.
New setup, new look, new sound.
Kobe's got blue hair.
I got blue hair.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's
still drinking cheap ass wine though, so that's not changed. But
we're giving that 7-Eleven on the corner a lot of our business.
Lots of business. Which, speaking of business, we do just want to say we do hope everybody is staying safe out there, staying at home, wearing masks. Don't touch nothing grody.
Exactly, Karen. We're looking at you. Mm-hmm. Don't touch that nasty shit.
Don't sneeze on somebody. But truthfully, everybody stay safe. It's weird right now. We just want to make people laugh. So stay safe.
Yeah, and honestly, it's been hard for us to get back to this, but we are very thankful that we are, and we hope everybody's been patient. And if you haven't heard any of our previous episodes, well, hello, welcome. Welcome to the menagerie of maniacal mayhem something. It's a work in progress.
We're trying to alliterate.
Yes, alliteration, because
that's a book thing.
Exactly, and this is a book podcast
where we talk about books and our feelings and how we feel about those books
that
with our feelings
make us feel. And everybody has feelings, right? And
debatable,
I think, right? I mean. Kobe, you have feelings, don't you?
Soulless.
No, I'm soulless. I'm half ginger. Come on now. That's true. That is how that works.
That is very true.
All right. Well, so without...
Which, by the way, I'm Kobe.
Did we not introduce ourselves?
We didn't say our names.
Okay. Yes, I'm Cory.
You almost said you're not Kobe. I'm Kobe.
This is the Kobe and Kobe show, and coming to you live. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm Cory.
And I'm Kobe.
And obviously we're back, but we don't have our shit together. Clearly. Oh, I'm feeling hot.
Rusty.
I'm a little flustered. No, goodness.
We're rusty. Don't worry. We're gonna shake out those cobwebs.
Mm-hmm. And we'll be back in fine form.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's what we're hoping for.
Holla.
But, before we get started, in true Booked on a Feeling fashion, we're going to do some icebreaker questions.
Mm-hmm.
Because we still don't know each other very well.
I mean,
we're friends and you're in my wedding, but I still don't.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know the weird things yet.
Like, how the hell are you going to have me standing on your side of the aisle and Wesley can't have me and it's... and you don't even know me. I'm just kidding.
If I can't have you, nobody can.
All right. So a little bit about the icebreakers, because obviously, so everybody knows what icebreakers are, just questions that we're going to ask ourselves just to kind of not only familiarize ourselves with each other, because everyone's growing and collabing and becoming closer and changing, but also so that you beautiful listeners can get to know us a little bit too, so that kind of I don't know.
What you're getting into.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole lot of crazy. All right. So, and with the icebreakers, we'll ask the question and then also answer our own question. So
exactly.
This will be fun. Cobi, you want to start us off?
Yes.
Yes,
So
queen.
my question, beautiful Cory, is if aliens were beaming down to Earth, would you let them take you?
Hell fucking no.
Why?
I mean, I don't want an anal probe.
What if they don't do those? It's 2020. Maybe they don't do those no more.
All I know.
That's so 1975.
Actually, I think more 1960s. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're probably right.
I don't know. Those people in Berkshire, they have a whole episode on unsolved mysteries dedicated to them. Yeah, no, I don't know. So,
I would. I'd want to be beamed up.
The only thing is,
beam me up, Scotty.
They better heat up that metal probe before they stick it anywhere. But no, I probably wouldn't, because I'd be terrified of some sort of like War of the Worlds type shit happening, or like where they harvest our organs or something. Like, this isn't some Rick and Morty adventure where we can go off on an intergalactic quest and become friends with these, I don't know, or whatever.
But what if it could?
Oh,
you never know.
That's a valid argument.
You could be missing out on a great adventure of a lifetime, and I'm going to be there and you're going to be at home.
By the time you get back to Earth, if you ever come back from your so-called adventure, I'll be dead and I won't give two shits. So
But you'll miss me.
I will. Yes, I will. For all of the 5 seconds before they blow up the planet.
So you can stay home with nothing in your butt, and I'm going to go fly with the aliens.
Okay. Oh man, we started off crass, didn't we? Goodness. Wow.
Oh God.
All right. So,
lay it on me. What's your question?
So my question is actually kind of in line with yours. Do you believe in cryptids? Do you think that they exist, like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster and stuff? Do you actually believe in those?
Yes.
Yeah?
Because there's evidence that like something as big as Nessie actually existed in prehistoric times. So it's a very real possibility that whatever that was back then could exist now.
It was a whale, Cobi. It's a whale. I'm just kidding.
Talking about Nessie? Nessie ain't no whale.
Nessie ain't no whale. Yeah, I don't know. I think like it's one thing to believe in ghosts and things like that in the supernatural. Cryptids, I've always had a hard time wrapping my head around.
Most of those stories are based on facts, though.
No, they are absolutely 100% based on facts. But like, I don't know. I don't buy it. It's probably just some hairy.
The pictures of
lumberjack.
The pictures of Bigfoot, though, that they have found was actually just some guy dressing up in like a gorilla suit, walking around to just cause trouble.
Yeah, I agree.
That was a hoax. But is Bigfoot real? Very real possibility. I don't know. You don't know.
I just feel like he would have been found by now.
He could be really good at hide and seek. Best hide and seek player on the planet.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, after all, he is probably the missing link. But I'm just kidding. I don't know. All right. Well, okay. I mean, that was, as far as icebreakers go, I think you won that round. Your question was better. So, no, you don't think so?
No, yours made me think a little bit more.
I liked it. Okay. All right. Well, so
what are we getting into this week, Cory?
Well, Cobi, we're getting into books. That's what we're getting into.
Books. I love books.
Oh, the good. Well, then you're in the right place.
Good. Thank God. I was really hoping that this was my house.
Yeah, and
but if it wasn't, then I was going to be concerned.
Stumble into some random. So, Cobi.
Cory.
Our topic today is scary fairies, scary fairy tales.
Ooh.
So fairy tales that have been rewritten or retold with a horror element. A spooky twist, one might say. So, All right. We're going to do a coin flip to see who goes first. Because we don't like to choose. We like to leave it up to fate.
I don't like choosing.
Yeah, I mean, this keeps it unique and fresh.
Exactly. So, Cory, would you like the Cory side of the coin or the Cobi side of the coin?
I want to do the Cory side of the coin because it's by far the handsomest.
Okay, well, here we go.
This is, by the way, everybody, this is an app on the phone with a coin, and on either side of the coin is a picture of our face. And I think Cobi chose like the least flattering pictures of both of us.
Purposefully. Okay, here we go. You want the Cory side?
Yes, I do. All right. What'd it land on?
On the Cobi side.
God. GD. Gosh darn it. I don't know. Just try not to use the Lord's name in vain. I don't want to insult anybody. All right.
Okay. We gonna assault.
I know.
Okay. So buckle up. Put on your big boy britches.
Click.
This is a doozy of a book.
Okay.
Or rather, it's a short story.
You did a short story.
I did a short story.
You never do short stories. I'm always the one to do short stories.
So, okay. To begin, I do have a physical book this time because I've had this book for at least 6 years.
Oh my God.
I've had it for forever. Currently, my book is bookmarked with a crushed red pepper flakes packet.
Okay.
Because at the time I didn't have anything else within reach. And I just kept it there because why not?
I mean, and you'd rather do that than dog ear. So,
exactly. I don't want to ruin these pristine pages.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the book is actually it's an anthology of a whole bunch of different short stories written by a bunch of different authors. So the book is called Snow White, Blood Red, and it just takes a lot of the original like Hans Christian Andersen stories and flips them.
Okay.
So the story that I'm talking about is called The Root of the Matter by Gregory Frost.
Okay.
And it was published in 1993.
So,
that's when I was born.
Oh God, nobody cares. All right, so let me.
Wow.
So let me ask this: am I guessing what the story is based on, or is it Snow White? Or
do you want to?
I'm just wondering, like, if you tell me, am I going to be able to, like, know what fairy tale that this book is based on?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, okay, let's do it. I want to guess. I want to fucking guess.
Cool.
Let's go.
So about the author, Gregory Frost, he is an American author of science fiction and fantasy, and he directs a fiction of writing workshops at Swarthmore College in Swarthmore, Pennsylvania.
Swarthmore.
Don't know where the fuck that is.
Swarthmore. That's a mouthful, actually.
Swarthmore.
Swarth or Swarth?
Swarth. Swarthmore.
Okay. All right. And what was his name again?
Gregory Frost.
Oh, okay. No relation to Robert Frost, right?
Not that I know of. I don't have his genealogy.
Oh, shit.
Pretty sure he's not, though.
All right.
But this
23andMe that shit.
Anthology is Snow White, Blood Red, and it is a series of retold fairy tales edited by Ellen Datlow and Terry Windling.
Okay.
Ellen and Terry, if I completely botched your last names, I sincerely apologize. #same.
#same. Right, people get your last name wrong all the time.
People get my first name wrong all the time.
Yeah, that's why we shortened it.
That's why we shortened it, because I didn't want people to get confused.
Also, we like nice alliteration.
Yeah.
Cory. And
should I
Cobi?
Should I tell people my name?
No.
Keep it a secret.
Let it live in mystery.
Oh my God, I've never been mysterious before. I almost snorted like a nerd. Okay. Okay, so the root of the matter, which, before I begin, the title has nothing to do with the story, so I'm not really sure where the title came from, and you'll see why.
Okay.
Each section of this short story is written in a different point of view.
Okay. How many sections? You'll tell me.
There's 3.
Okay, cool.
And very conveniently summarized all of them for your hearing pleasure. So the story begins with Mother Gothel's point of view.
Okay, Mother Gothel. Got it.
Do you know who that is?
I'm taking notes. I don't know who that is.
You don't know who that is? Okay. Well,
that sounds like Rapunzel. Hey, the listeners can't hear your look to the side.
My side looks. Sorry. So Mother Gothel, it's all from her point of view, and she is very graphic about when she was molested by her father.
That's scary. That is very scary.
She runs away into the forest to be found by hermaphroditic beings called the Others, who teach her about magic. She travels to a nearby town and starts man-hating. She moves into a brothel and she tortures men with her magic. She would enchant them to give her their money and land.
Okay.
And when she got all rich, she moved out of the brothel and into her own estate, where she lived next to a family of 3 kids, a dad, and a pregnant mom. Mother Gothel recounts that the pregnant mom was a screeching pain in the ass, so she decided to sneak into her bedroom and see what her baby looked like by putting her hand on the mom's belly.
Okay. And
to enchant her into craving Rapunzel. Which, to those that don't know what Rapunzel is, it's actually a type of lettuce.
What?
It's like a type of lettuce.
How? Oh, okay.
Rapunzel is like an actual vegetable. It's like a leafy green.
Don't tell all the little kiddos out there. They're not going to want to watch Rapunzel. They're abject horror.
Oh, yeah. Rapunzel's Mandy Moore. I forgot.
Oh, I love Mandy Moore.
Girl. Mandy Moore.
You effervescent girl.
Effervescent as fuck. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Mother Gothel, she enchants the pain in the ass pregnant mom to crave Rapunzel. And Mother Gothel sets up a trap, letting the husband climb over her wall to steal Rapunzel from her garden, and lets him get away with it the first time, so he has a sense of safety.
Oh, yeah.
But the second time he tries to steal, she catches him and demands that if he truly wanted the Rapunzel for his wife, that he would give her his newborn child. He agrees because, of course, you're going to exchange a child for a bushel of fucking lettuce.
I would. Just kidding.
He agrees because he was struggling with his wife and says, I already have 3, so I'll be good.
Oh, damn.
Literally says that in the fucking book. He's I already got 3.
Nah, why not?
Take the 4th. Who cares?
Sounds like a good deal to me.
So the mom gives birth to the child. Mother Gothel gets the child and promptly moves far, far away into a lighthouse on the other side of the country and names her Rapunzel after that lettuce.
Oh, I see the connection now.
Do you know what the story is now? Is it obvious? That's why I was the first sentence that I wrote for my summary was, this is a retelling of Rapunzel.
I know.
And then you were like, no, I want to guess. I'm like, second sentence is Mother Gothel's point of view of her childhood. So I thought it would be mad obvious. Anyway. So we move on to Rapunzel's point of view. And her section is told in diary entries.
Aw.
I know. How cute and
Are there little
teenagery.
hearts on top of the eyes and little flourishes on the Y's and G's?
I fucking wish. It's
Damn.
grosser than that.
Is it grosser? How old is she when she's writing this diary?
She's 16, bruh.
Okay, so there's a time gap. Okay.
So, yeah, by the way, I'm completely cutting out the parts where Mother Gothel and Rapunzel are nasty.
Oh, shit. What?
This is a gross story. I bought this book when I was a teenager, and I thought that it was going to be some cool, spooky thing with ghosts and shit. Nah. They talk about some graphic nonsense. Hermaphroditic beings in the forest. They're naked, Cory. And she talks about in detail about the bottom half of them.
Are there illustrations? No, I'm just kidding. Don't.
No, I'm so glad, for the sake of my eyesight, I'm so glad that there wasn't.
Okay, come on. We did Nickelodeon fan fiction before.
Oh my God.
So like
I tried to block that out. That was some PTSD inducing shit. Okay. And then I also did those reptiles that.
Yes, you did.
Rape
For the
people.
conspiracy theory one.
For the conspiracy theory one.
Yep.
That completely fucked with my Kindle insights.
Oh, Jesus
Cool.
Christ.
Anyway, Rapunzel.
I'm just really quick sidebar for all of you listeners who are just joining us. We had a series of episodes while we were still trying to find our sound.
And like figuring stuff out.
And so we have decided to pull those episodes and archive them. And we may or may not release them at a later date as we see fit. So sometimes we might reference something. And I do apologize if you don't actually understand what we're saying. It's honestly just our own insanity speaking. So just, letting y'all know. Okay. Sidebar adjourned.
Okay. Rapunzel. So, Rapunzel starts talking about how Mother Gothel tells her stories about how terrible men are and how they have knives for penises.
Ew.
Like, got a steak knife in his pants.
Like, okay.
Mother Gothel gets really upset and mad when Rapunzel gets her period, because this means that the men can smell her and hunt her.
What are they, fucking sharks?
Apparently. You're a man. Can you smell?
Barbed penises? I don't know. I have a barbed penis, but I don't know about the smelling thing.
So.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so.
I'm so sorry.
So, and like Mother Gothel, like the way that Rapunzel talks about it, Rapunzel's like, Mother Gothel straight up screamed at me. I'm completely like paraphrasing, but she essentially talked about how Mother Gothel screams at her for getting her period. Like, how the fuck can she help that?
She can't control that.
She's a girl. She's a female. Anyway, so Mother Gothel doesn't let Rapunzel cut her hair and bathes her every night and molests her.
All right.
So there's that.
Okay.
The reason why Mother Gothel doesn't let Rapunzel cut her hair is the only entrance and exit to the tower is Rapunzel's hair. She drops it out of a window and Mother Gothel climbs up and down. How Rapunzel hasn't had her hair ripped out at the roots, I don't know. She must use some biotin or some shit. Not sure.
I see. Yeah, I vaguely recall something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Rapunzel, let down your hair.
So one day, a man appears and starts to climb up Rapunzel's hair because Mother Gothel has just left.
Did she consent to him climbing up her hair?
No.
So her hair was just hanging out the window.
Just hanging out the window because Mother Gothel had just left to go shopping. Before she could pull her hair up, this dude just is like, hey, look, there's some hanging hair. Wonder where it goes.
Let me just yank on it and drag my 200-pound body up this side of this lighthouse. All right.
Apparently.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Rapunzel falls in love with him.
As one is wont to do.
And sleeps with him, like, a lot. Like, she talks about how they, like, banging on every surface hundreds of times. I don't know.
Okay.
She gets pregnant, but doesn't figure it out until Mother Gothel essentially notices that she's getting fat and calls her a slut and a whore and says she's unclean. So Mother Gothel casts a spell to send Rapunzel off far, far away from the man and cuts off her hair to trick him.
Okay.
And that's the end of Rapunzel's
story?
diary.
All right.
So now we're on the dude. His name is John.
All right, let's let him mansplain this for us. What happened?
So John, his part starts when Rapunzel gets sent away by Mother Gothel and he doesn't know. And so it starts with him like being like, whoa, there's Rapunzel's hair. Let me go up there real quick. Get my freak on.
Jesus.
So he climbs up, gets to the tower where he sees Mother Gothel waiting for him with a fistful of Rapunzel's hair.
Mother Gothel's like, hey, so I sent Rapunzel away, and he starts freaking the fuck out. He falls out of the tower in a haste to get away from Mother Gothel because she's trying to kill him.
Okay.
He falls into a thorn bush, and he goes blind from thorns poking into his eyes.
Oh, okay. All right. I also, like, not ironically, I remember that from the Into the Woods movie.
Yes. So this is actually based off of the real fairy tale, not the Disney one.
Yeah.
This is like really close to the true original Rapunzel story.
Yeah, I mean, I figured this wasn't Disney as soon as you mentioned the word hermaphroditic. So
And molest.
Yep. And man-hating,
And,
because Walt Disney ain't about the man-hate. He's not about
knife
it.
penises, and
Maybe just
and
we should
period
say...
smelling.
Periods, Jesus.
Menstruation
sense.
Gross.
They have a menstruation-scented candle.
Gross.
I'm just kidding. I have no idea.
So he blind. And he wanders around the woods and into a town where he starts asking people for help to find his love. Everyone laughs at him and calls him a storyteller, so he continues to wander around looking for Rapunzel and tells his story to anyone that will listen. He finally gets to the ocean, like he can smell the salt.
The salt.
And wonders why he isn't dead. And then a sailor just comes up and starts whispering in his ear that he has an angel watching over him.
A sailor says that?
Yeah, but like
Okay.
comes up and is like, "Hey, you got an angel.
You got an angel.
She's watching out for you, boy. Want to take a feel of mine?"
Okay, this is awkward. No, with this story, you shouldn't be doing that.
Anyway. So the sailor's whispering in his ear. So John takes this as a sign that Rapunzel is calling out to him. How romantic. He wanders around for a much longer time and ends up in a desert where he starts to get weak from thirst. He suddenly can hear beautiful singing that sounds a lot like Rapunzel, so he starts to run. They find each other, and Rapunzel cries into his eyes, which start to heal because somehow she inherited Mother Gothel's powers without being her biological child.
Yeah, that tracks.
Makes
that tracks.
sense.
Yeah.
She had 2 children. She had twins. So he sees his 2 kids and has dinner with his family. Then he's like, hey, let's go back to the lighthouse where we were both traumatized. See what's up. Well, it's been demolished and they never hear from Mother Gothel again. The end.
The end. That's it?
That's it.
Wow. All right.
It's a roller coaster of a story.
You're not allowed to do short stories anymore because you ended that quick. No,
But I'm not ready. I'm not done.
I know. You have your analysis?
Yeah.
Sweet. Give it to me.
I'm going to be negative. So the worst part of this book is probably all of the graphic imagery that I
Yeah.
could definitely live without.
Yeah.
Because they use some like real colorful adjectives for stuff. I would read like a sentence, but I don't want to corrupt our listeners or you, Cory.
Yeah. No,
or Padme.
I'm a very innocent being.
Exactly.
I'm made of light. Don't you darken my spirit.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that was the worst part of that book, of this story for me. What did I learn from the book? Don't sell your children for lettuce.
Even that Rapunzel bougie lettuce. Yeah.
That Rapunzel lettuce. Not even for that. Stealing is wrong. Because that's how this all happened.
Because he was stealing the lettuce.
Yeah.
No. I think that Gothel, she...
Maybe she shouldn't have gotten molested?
Oh, that's not right. That's not on her. That's not her fault.
That's true. Hashtag don't blame the victim.
Yes.
No, it all starts with the stealing.
Okay. Yeah.
So don't steal. Stealing's bad. Stealing's wrong. Don't do it.
I don't know. She cast a spell on the mother though to crave
crave it.
Rapunzel, and the father. I mean, you can just
He could have gone
imagine.
to a market.
He's a desperate being, and like, oh look over that fence, I smell or see some Rapunzel growing. Let me just la-di-da and go get some.
He could have gone 10 minutes up the damn path to go to the market
You don't
to
know
get
if it was
some
10 minutes. It could be 2 hours.
She could have survived.
That's true.
I mean, all that the book said was that she was just a pain in the ass. Like, she
Yeah.
didn't hurt anybody. She was just screaming all the time about wanting lettuce.
Yeah. True.
Need that iron. Did I learn anything else? Love conquers all. Ooh, that was cheesy.
No.
Ooh, that left a bad taste in my mouth.
ASMR.
Okay, I'm gonna.
All right. Regroup.
What did you learn from the? What did you learn from the book?
No, you don't ask me that. You're telling us.
I
what
already
you learned.
said. I already said what I learned.
Yeah. Okay.
Stealing is bad, and don't sell your children for lettuce.
I'm not going to tell you what I learned from your book. This is for you to share with the listeners.
Okay, and then which character did I like the best or least? I kind of like John.
Yeah.
John was pretty tight. Was he dumb? Yeah.
Most men are. I honestly don't like Gothel. The man hating's fine. I don't care about that.
But like the manipulation.
The manipulation, that's kind of where I'm at with that, So.
Yeah. Maybe I wish I could meet the hermaphroditic beings.
Hey, you don't know. They could be very polite and very well-mannered people.
From what they described in the book, they were.
We were
They
nude
just taught
until
her
Adam and
magic.
Eve decided to eat from the tree or something like that, right?
But yeah, like in the book, they just talk about them being like just chill in the forest. They teach her magic, and then her man-hating, revenge-seeking self is like, I'm gonna go
Use this magic for
Evil.
ill purposes.
Exactly. So I mean, I wouldn't mind meeting those beings, the others.
Yep.
And how does this book compare? Well, if we're comparing this story to Disney, it's very different. Very different. I would not suggest this book to children under the age of 18.
Yeah.
But if we're comparing it to the original, like the OG story, it's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah.
Like, minus the man-hating, the knife penises, and like the weird stuff that she does with Rapunzel. Like, this is essentially the same story.
Yeah.
It's really similar. So I'm actually like really impressed that they kept so much of the original story. And then yeah, I would recommend this story to our adult listeners over the age of 18. Like I said, it's very graphic. But yeah, it was an interesting read. Like, I didn't hate it. It didn't make me feel good, but it was one of those things that I was like, I really want to tell Cory about this.
Oh my God. Jesus.
So yeah,
All right.
so that was oh wait, back to like my original thought. Remember that the title of the story is The Root of the Matter. Nothing to do with that whole fucking story.
Oh my God. Do you think that the author's trying to like kind of stretch for like some meaning, like the root of Rapunzel, like
Because Rapunzel
How?
has roots?
yeah, because like the actual plant has roots, so like the root of the matter, like the reason why, because it goes back into like Mother Gothel's like past, so it's
Yeah.
almost like from the very beginning, this is how the stage was set for the Rapunzel to come into the world and all that shit. And this is how that happened, and this is why. So that's the root.
I don't know. I didn't think about that. You're way more deep than I am.
That's me. I'm a deep pool.
Well, yeah. So that's it.
All right. Awesome.
I'm excited.
So, everybody, take a deep breath. All right. Yeah, you drink some wine. All right. So,
Time for me to sit back and enjoy the show.
and listen to my sultry voice, I guess. I don't know. I don't even know if I used that word correctly. Oh well. So my book that I covered is called The Merry Spinster, Tales of Everyday Horror.
Oh my God, I almost did that one.
Really?
I was so close to doing that one, and then I chose this instead.
Yeah. So
I even bought it.
You bought it?
Yeah. I didn't read any of it.
Yeah. No,
Because then I forgot that I had this book, and then I was like, yeah, I bought it.
the cover looked like this.
Huh?
Yeah.
I have it.
So I actually have some background information for you that I
I'm
think.
so glad I didn't read that book now. This would have been a boring ass episode.
So I'm gonna jump ahead and just say if I would recommend this book, I absolutely would.
Perf.
I had some personal complications with it, but I definitely would recommend this book, The Merry Spinster. Now, the book was written by Daniel Lavery. Now, don't say anything before you say anything, because if you bought the book, then you know that the author on the book, the name of the author on the book is different. So Daniel was born in 1986 and is a transgender man. And he transitioned right around the time this book was published. So it was published under his dead name, which I'm not going to use. So,
Daniel, you go.
You live your truth, honestly.
You go and live your truth.
Live your truth.
I stand people that live their truth and then just go and they do some crazy awesome shit
and they
this.
spread their wings. Like, go for it. So Daniel actually co-created a website, because I have a little bit about the author.
Does Daniel, do you know what pronouns Daniel uses?
He, him.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
I mean, I'm...
Some transgender males use they, their.
That's
they, their,
true.
them. So I just wanted to make sure. I don't want to offend anybody.
I don't want to offend anybody either. So if I am wrong,
Daniel, I'm so sorry.
Or Daniel,
wrong.
yes, please, like, reach out to us. I will absolutely 100% correct myself.
But like 100%, Daniel, if you're listening, like, I love you. You're amazing. Go and live your life.
So just for the sake of argument, I will use they them from here on. Just maybe or maybe
yeah,
not.
that's why we use folks.
Folks. That is why we say folks. So Daniel co-created a website called The Toast, which is actually a feminist interest site. And there's an article by The Cut that describes it as, I love this, describes it as a late great testament to razor sharp, freaky ass feminism, which I was just like, go for it.
Like the vagina monologue.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, bitch. I fucking stan.
Yes. Daniel also has a podcast and an advice column called Dear Prudence, and has authored a couple other satirical works along with this one.
So go listen to Dear Prudence.
Yeah, actually, I meant to check it out before this episode, and I didn't get a chance. But in the same article of The Cut, Daniel describes the ideal of being like a 1998 Brendan Fraser from like
The Mummy?
George of the Jungle. Yeah, The Mummy. And like fighting, and like fighting, fighting with yourself, because that's what you want to, like, that's what you desperately want to look like. But like,
yeah,
like
you can take the jungle out of the man, but you can't take
that, I think, no.
You can take the man out of the jungle, but you can't take the jungle out of the man.
No, just like, like dealing with being transgender, it's just very much, you have a certain image of yourself and you want to see yourself as some other way, and it doesn't align with how the world is telling you that you are. So that's kind of why I put that in there, because I thought that was, if you want to look like 1998 Brendan Fraser,
you go and do that.
Yeah, you can try, but you're beautiful no matter what. So
do whatever you want. Do whatever makes you happy.
So I did look into whether Daniel was still close with their family, because their parents are actually pastors. And I found out that Daniel's father was put on leave in 2019 after an incident involving a churchgoer who confided that they had sexual feelings for children. He did nothing and instead encouraged the person to rehabilitate themselves by attending functions and overnight trips with minors. Daniel is the one that reported his father to the elder council, and his father was put on leave after that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Daniel, you're a strong person. Oh my God. We haven't even read the book, and I'm like almost about to cry. Like
that,
oh my God.
That enough is like just crazy.
Episode
for me.
over. No, I'm just kidding. No, I really want to know about the story now, because the person who wrote it sounds incredible.
Yeah. So the Merry Spinster is, and I'm sorry again for all my slip ups with the pronouns prior to this. I have all my notes written out with he, him. So that's why I'm just like,
yeah,
So the Merry Spinster is comprised of 11 short stories that are based on fairy tales, biblical chapters and verses, and works from Shakespeare and other children's stories. They are all woven tightly together into narratives that subvert gender constructs and add elements of horror to them. So I actually read this book a few months ago, like before all of the crazy delays that we had. And So some of the stories stuck with me a little bit better than others. I did have to reread some of them, but for the most part, I'm just going off of my original notes. So if I backtrack and I'm like, oh wait, this happened, that's why. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Are you doing like all of them or some of them?
I'm doing all of them, but no, I'm not gonna I'm not doing.
I feel like a failure now. I only focused on one.
Oh no, they're all fairly short. I'm not doing like in depth, like
okay.
action by action what's happening. I'm just gonna kind of talk about each one a little bit.
Okay.
So, and I kind of want you to guess what. No,
I want to guess. Let me guess.
you can. Some of them. Okay, so some of them you're not gonna be able to guess. So I will.
I don't know.
I'll let you know.
Try
Okay.
me, boy.
So, the first short story is called The Daughter Cells. And it starts off under the sea. Yeah. And at the very beginning, the narrator kind of says that you wouldn't think to call the mermaids girls, but then proceeds throughout the entire story to call them girls. But it is about mermaids. Mm-hmm. Right? It breaks the fourth wall, this one does, where the narrator talks directly to the reader. So that was actually something I found that was a little bit different from the other stories. So essentially, a mermaid decides to find true love and goes. I'm surprised you haven't guessed. Like,
I know what it is. I don't know. I'm not sure if I should like wait till the end.
No, you can just shout it out.
It's fucking Ariel, beach.
It's the Little Mermaid.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically it's same story as the Little Mermaid almost. Like, the mermaid goes, gets their voice taken. It just, trades their voice for legs. There's apparently it's a very painful process, and she ends up on the shore where the prince finds her. So it's a story we all know, we've all heard. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing though is her inner commentary, the mermaid, just of all of the crazy, weird ass things that humans do. And there's one.
So you see, sorry to interrupt. So you see how she's experiencing the way that we live.
Yeah.
But we're seeing it how she's seeing it.
Yeah. So apparently.
That's crazy cool.
Yeah. So in the ocean, nobody really owns themselves after death. Once somebody or once something is dead, it belongs to the community. Like, they can be eaten, they can be whatever. So there's a quote where the mermaid says that humans are a prodigiously selfish race and considerate it's a typo, and consider themselves their own private property even in death. Because she's talking about like the fact that when they die, they get buried in a plot of land. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, like I said, these notes are from months ago, but it does get to the point where she can't speak. So the prince she's basically just like a backdrop. Like, the prince keeps going and finds someone else to marry and marries his bride, and they're on a boat, and she ends up killing the prince and his bride, and she bathes in their blood and steals their souls before turning back into a mermaid and going back into the sea.
Fucking goals.
Yeah. So,
bitch, that's really some feminist shit right there.
So, and her sisters the entire time are all like watching her from the ocean, kind of just like, yeah. So, all right. So that was the first story. The second story is The Thankless Child. Now, this story, the character uses female pronouns, but her name is Paul. She lives with her stepsisters and her father, and her godmother, because I believe it's a godmother, if I have that right, demands veneration from them, and they have to pray to her. Yeah, the godmother demands veneration. They have to pray to her. They have to show contrition if she calls them ungrateful for any reason. And they they're given rations of like food based on how, like, if they've worshipped the godmother like the way that she wants that day, if that makes sense. Like, it's kind of like very, oh, you showed me that you're grateful and that you love me. here, I'll give you a quarter of a loaf of bread instead of an eighth or something, some shit like that.
This is Cinderella, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but the godmother,
the godmother's evil?
Well, no, the godmother is like, she won't do anything or feed you or anything unless you show her, like, unless you worship her.
So it's kind of like the Aztec gods. Like the Aztec and Mayan gods, where like they believed that in order to get everyday things and to be rewarded for, you know,
rewarded with living.
Yeah, rewarded with living, then they have to, you know, sacrifice to their gods and to, you know,
kind of,
praise them and worship these gods in order to get those gifts. Yeah. So it's kind of like that, but with a fairy godmother.
Yeah, and the godmother notices that Paul goes under this tree, where I believe the spirit of her mother gives her things like an apple or something like that from this tree. And she goes under this tree to remember her mother, and the godmother doesn't like that because that means that Paul doesn't like fully is not fully is not like fully appreciative of all the stuff that godmother does for her. So basically, eventually Paul escapes her godmother because she goes and she marries the priest's son. It's not a king, it's a priest's son. But at the end of the story, she quickly falls ill as the godmother arrives to stay with them, to be like a live-in like godmother. So she never ended up escaping the godmother. Okay. And I believe she gets sick because of that. So yeah. So, all right. So the third.
Wait, whoa. That's the end?
That's the end.
At least with Ariel, she got to bathe in the blood of that prince that fucked her over.
See, and I'm going to talk about it too, but like with these stories, like they almost emotionally, I was not ready for the story to end, if that makes sense. Like I was expecting there to be something that kind of tied it all together.
Not necessarily a happily ever after. Like the real original version of The Little Mermaid, she turns into sea foam and she walks on pins and needles for the whole time she's a human.
Yeah.
And Cinderella, the stepsisters cut up their feet.
Yeah.
But like, she just gets sick and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, she gets sick and she sees the godmother coming up the road, and she thinks like how grateful she is to have her godmother there, because anybody would be lucky to have a godmother. And then she starts feeling hot and cold, and then falls ill, and that's it. Yeah. So it's just like, I don't know. I didn't know.
Daniel, what the fuck?
Yeah. So then the next story is called Fear Not, an Incident Log. Now this one, it's based on, I'm going to go ahead and say it's based on the book of Genesis.
Ooh.
And it's about an angel, but it's almost like he's an IT expert. So he's like, and I don't know, like he talks about, because it's called an incident log. So he basically talks about incidents on Earth with the humans, like things like that. And
he's troubleshooting.
Kind of.
Fucking weird.
And he's tasked, the angel is tasked by God to wrestle with Jacob to teach him humility. And Jacob's so stubborn that he refuses to let go of the angel, and then he dies. And then it's like the angel's like, it's not my fault he died. He didn't let go of me. He was supposed to give up or something like that. I was just like, okay.
That's some poor customer service.
Okay, so the next two stories are, I think, actually my favorite. So the next one's called the Six Boy Coffins. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you what this one's based off of. It's based off of The Six Swans and The 12 Brothers by the Grimm brothers.
Yes, I love that story.
Which one?
Both.
You love both of them?
Yeah.
Because, okay. Well,
I know that they're different.
Yeah, okay. So
but they're always next to each other in the books.
Are they?
Yeah.
So basically, 6 princes run away from the king because the king wants a daughter. Now, when the daughter is born and has grown a little bit, she goes out and she finds the brothers, and she's staying with them in the woods. She picks lilies, I guess because she wants a nice centerpiece on their table, because they look pretty. And as soon as she picks the lilies, all of her brothers turn into swans. And to have them turn back into humans, she has to make 6 shirts made out of nettle. And the story gets very descriptive with like how her hands, basically like the skin just sloughs off, like
because nettle is essentially like
it's like a poisonous,
it's like
thorny root. Yeah,
it's like thorny roots, like the roots from like Sleeping Beauty from the Disney one.
Yeah,
the roots that like I'm trying to describe to the readers because I know what nettles are.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so it's like thorny roots, and she's making shirts.
Yeah, and it literally like it talks about her hands and just how just awful her hands get. And she cannot speak. She has to stay silent. She can't say a word.
She can't cry out in pain.
Yes,
if memory
exactly.
serves.
She can't make a sound. So the king finds her and takes her to his castle. Maybe a different king? I can't remember. Wow, that's bad. Anyway, so she starts learning kind of the danger of silence because someone who wishes to hear a yes will not go out of their way to listen for a no. So in other words, like the king keeps wanting to have sex with her and she can't speak, so she can't say no. She's not consenting, but she can't reject.
Verbalize.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
God, that's fucked.
And so she does get raped, and she has 3 secret abortions before she's finally accused of witchcraft. And right as she is about to be, I believe, burned, the brothers turn back into human form, and they save her, and they burn the king alive instead. And they escape into the woods.
Yes.
And that story was like so good. Like I loved that one. The next one was a fairly short. I think I just like kind of like read straight through it. Essentially, it's called The Rabbit. And the rabbit is a toy, a stuffed toy.
Like the Velveteen Rabbit?
Speak up.
The Velveteen Rabbit?
Yeah, the
is that what this is?
Yeah.
Oh!
And like I said, this is another one of my favorites, but it was, again, like really short. So the rabbit asks another toy that belonged to the boy's uncle, so the boy that's his owner, what it took to be real, because this other toy essentially, I guess, became real. Jesus, I did not do my notes well for this, but I remember loving the story. So anyway, so the boy's uncle had a toy called the Skin Horse, and the Skin Horse had become a real animal, and eventually disappeared, but not before telling the Velveteen Rabbit how to become real. And the story ends with the rabbit stealing the little boy's life force slowly over time. So the boy just gets sicker and sicker, and as the boy gets sicker, the Velveteen Rabbit becomes more and more a real rabbit. And then the boy dies in the end.
That's creepy.
Yeah. It's so
makes
good.
me think of Robert the Doll in Florida.
Actually, yeah, it's so good though. And I did not do that story justice because I didn't take enough notes. I only have like 3 bullet points for it, which is so sad.
Only question.
Yes.
Do they explain why it's called a skin horse?
Yes. So it's called a skin horse because the horse toy was loved on by the boy's uncle so much that the fur or fuzz on it was worn off.
So he's not made of skin.
No.
Okay.
No, but he's called the skin horse because his fur is like rubbed worn
off. Yeah,
he was worn down. Yeah.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better because as soon as you said skin horse, I was like, oh my God, this is some Ed Gein type of shit. Like, I ain't ready.
All right, so then we come to the main story, and this is the Merry Spinster. Now, instead of a grandpa, there's a mother, and she has I assume a daughter. Now, when I get to the end of this, I'll explain some of this again, but essentially, her daughter is considered useless because all she does with her time is read.
Me. The story is about me.
Yeah. So the mother breaks down on the side of the road in her car, I believe, and she goes to a manor and she trespasses. She goes inside the manor. She drinks, eats. She steals a bushel of roses, and as payment, because she gets caught by none other than the Beast.
I knew it. I was sitting here like, this sounds a lot like Beauty and the Beast.
I mean, you should have known as soon as I said the daughter, all she does is read. Like,
I got it when you said the steals the bushes.
The bushel of roses.
Yeah.
Yeah. As payment for the beast, because she has trespassed and she has eaten his food and drank his drink, she gives him her daughter, Beauty. And that's her daughter's name is Beauty.
That's a cute name.
Now, Beauty, because the beast is infatuated with her, he asks her for her hand in marriage.
That's nice.
Multiple times.
That's still nice,
and
though.
Beauty doesn't know him. She doesn't know him.
I mean,
she's honestly, this ain't some Stockholm syndrome shit. Like,
this ain't Frozen. This ain't Anna.
Beauty refuses to marry the beast, and eventually she finds him on the stairs, and he has died of heartbreak.
That's actually really sad.
Yeah.
He just wants to be loved. Poor beast.
All right. So now
That's the end?
That's the end.
Poor beast.
So now we're at probably my least favorite story, I will say, called The Wedding Party. Now, this one's also based off of a Grimm fairy tale called The Goose Girl. I don't know if you've ever heard of that one.
I've read all of the Grimm fairy tales.
So The Goose Girl is where a maid replaces the bride-to-be and tries to trick the groom. Mm-hmm. I believe she gets caught because the head of a horse is hung over the entrance of the church or something.
Yeah,
and
she gets real close to getting away with it.
Yeah. The horse apparently recognizes the bride no matter what and recognizes that is not the bride,
Yeah,
that's somebody
it's like
else.
an enchanted horse head.
Yeah. So in this story, though, they talk about witches, hangovers, and the devil's hour. It starts with the two characters, David and Allison, waking up after a night, their rehearsal dinner before their wedding. And they're talking about the Goose Girl story, and they talk about being hungover, and they talk about like witches and how the devil's hour is at 3 or 4 in the morning. And that's not the witching hour, because the devil's hour is the inverse of the hour that Jesus rose from the dead, which was like at 3 in the afternoon, apparently, something like that. So they go to meet one of Allison's friends, and they're at this place. I would assume it's the wedding venue, but they're there to meet Allison's friend, and Allison goes outside, and David, who is inside waiting for them to return, starts going crazy, imagining that Allison never existed. I want to say, honestly, one of my bullet points on this was, I'm so confused. I was really confused.
I'm confused.
I was like, I don't know what's going on, but clearly this guy is having a breakdown.
Like, he just out of the blue is just like, what if she's not real?
It's almost like, no, it's because he wants to go outside to confront them, because I think he feels like they've been outside for a long time. I want to say the friend's name is Beth, but anyway, they go out, like he wants to go outside, but he's like, what if I open the door and she is vanished? Because he can like hear her voice. So he's like, as long as I don't go outside, she's still there. But as soon as I open the door, she's gone, and I'm going to be running down the street like a madman, shaking people, saying, "Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter?" Or not really, "Where's my daughter?" I'm trying
like
to
Liam
reference.
Neeson. Yeah.
Thank you. I was trying to reference that.
Yeah.
Did a bad job.
That's some deep set insecurity, though.
Yeah, well, he is very insecure, because at 3 or 4 times throughout the story, he talks about like the fact that Allison doesn't like the wedding ring, but like she says that she likes it, but he has an inner monologue where he's like, I would buy her a new ring, if only like just to get her to stay or something. He also, I'm gonna return to it. Okay. So the next story is called "Some of Us Have Been Threatening Our Friend Mr. Toad." Now this one's based on The Wind in the Willows. Mm-hmm. And the whole time I couldn't help but think, like, are they gonna lynch Mr. Toad? Because they make him seem like he's going crazy. Apparently his house was one of my bullet points for this is the fuck, because I don't know, like, the Mr. Toad wakes up and Rat and Mole are there, but they're like making Mr. Toad feel like he's being inconsiderate and making him feel like he's not appreciating them. He's not appreciative of the help that they're giving him by
So they're
letting
negging him.
Exactly. And so like they do something where like they basically go to get Mr. Toad, and all of like the otter and all the other animals join them, and each one of them has a weapon. Which is why I'm like, are they going to lynch him? And I actually listed out the weapons that they take with them, these weapons, to go to Mr. Toad's house or something. A boat hook, a tarpaulin, a shovel, 2 steering poles, a mattock, a garden fork, a fishing spear, and a luncheon basket. And they're like,
This sounds like they about to kill Mr. Toad, bury him somewhere, and then have a picnic to celebrate his death.
like, I don't even know. I was so confused, and I probably should have reread that one, but I was just like, okay, let's move on. Now, the next story is another good one. Now, this one's called Cast Your Bread Upon the Waters, and this is based on Johnny Croy and His Mermaid Bride, which is an Orkney folktale. I don't know where Orkney is, but it's a folktale from there, or from those people.
I've never heard of that.
I don't know.
This is new for me.
Our American ignorance is showing. So this is, honestly, just reading this story, I assumed it was kind of about a siren.
Okay.
This guy, Johnny Croy, falls in love with a woman out in the water, a mermaid, if you would.
Okay.
Okay. He essentially, he steals the mermaid's comb, and he says he will not give it back unless she lives with him for 7 years. And after she lives with him for 7 years, then he'll go live under the sea with her.
For a comb.
So she agrees.
For a comb.
Yes.
Is this a magic comb? I don't know. My brain hurts. First, the baby getting traded for lettuce. I'm like, that's a fucking comb.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So
The realist in me is like having a panic attack.
So the mermaid agrees to live with him, and they have 6 kids. Now, when I first read this, I assumed that it was the mother, but after reading an interview with Daniel with it was either The Cut or Vanity Fair. It was one of those interviews. I realized that was my presumption, because the person who loves Johnny Croy, who is the parental figure to him, is never gendered. So I just assumed it was the mother, and I don't think it is. But it's about to get real dark. So the presumed mother, sorry.
Wait, sorry. So the mother is telling the story of the dude and the mermaid?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Essentially.
I just wanted to make sure I was catching
essentially.
up.
Now, and like I'm using quotes here, like the mother. Like I said, as I read this, I thought it was the mother, but then I found out literally a day ago while I was reading an interview that the character's not gendered. So,
Could be anything.
Yeah, exactly. At the very beginning, I did really like this. So there, this parental figure to Johnny Croy, says that there are 6 eternal sins that that merit hell. And those are despair, presumption, resistance, envy, impenitence, and obstinacy. And those are apparently 6 sins that you cannot be forgiven for, and that you will go to hell for. So, despair,
Cory?
you got me there.
Cory, save you a seat.
so this character is very religious, obviously, and sees that Johnny is having these children with a foul creature of the deep, essentially.
Out of wedlock?
And to save the 6 kids, they burn a cross into their backs to save their souls. Then they stab the mermaid in the neck, cut off Johnny's left hand, and cut out his left eye for his sins, and then push them out to sea in a boat. And
with the kids?
No, not with the kids. Like the kids got burned with a cross into their backs, and then the mermaid was stabbed. Didn't die though. At the point that the story ends, the mermaid was still alive and Johnny was still alive, but they were dumped in a boat and pushed out to sea. And Johnny lost his left hand and his left eye.
Oh my God.
And that's and like I said, I thought it was the mother, but it is a parental figure to Johnny that did this to them. like burn like their own grandkids like in the back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it got dark. So that's how that story ends. You ready for me to keep going? Because there's only 2 left.
Hold on. Ooh, Lord. I still want to read this book though.
Yeah, no, it's
but I'm just like, woo, Lord.
And honestly, like I said, like it's been months since I read this, and I don't think my notes were that great. Actually, I think I could have done better. I will admit.
But still, some of the little stuff, I'm just
Yeah.
like, holy shit.
Yeah. So the second to last story is called The Frog's Princess.
So like the Frog Prince?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, this basically is the story of a daughter, and she lives with her father and her sisters. I'm so sorry, Jesus Christ. This is about a daughter who lives with his father and his sisters. He does not have a name. He's just called
him.
daughter, but he has male pronouns.
Okay.
I mean, that's fine. Honestly,
yeah.
I didn't have a problem with it.
But his name is daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just referred
That's
to
where
as
I was like
daughter.
a little weird for a second. I was like,
Yeah.
it's a daughter living with.
Yeah. I messed that up. I messed the.
Okay.
Yeah.
His name is daughter, and
It's-
he lives
I mean,
with
he's
his.
referred to as daughter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he lives with his dad and his sisters.
Yes. Or his. Yeah.
Whatever.
So the daughter is playing with a ball out by a well in the woods when the ball falls into the well. Mm-hmm. Now, the ball is retrieved by a frog, and the frog, as a repayment for getting the ball for the daughter, essentially is like, you have to be my companion. Now, daughter obviously used the frog to get the ball and had no intention of being a companion to this frog at all.
Because he's a bitch.
Because he's a slimy little toad.
And daughter's a bitch, apparently.
Kind of, yes. So I believe some time passes and they're eating dinner, and there's a knock at the door, and it's the frog. And the father demands that his daughter uphold his promise. And so the daughter and the frog go into the bedroom, and the daughter lays down, and the frog climbs in between his legs, and there's a description that he's like, as he's climbing over the legs, that like the daughter can feel like his slimy like feet. It is assumed by me that the frog molested the daughter, but I don't actually have details on that, so I'm kind of thankful that I'm just gonna leave that perverse detail out of this story, I guess. I don't know.
My imagination is running wild.
Yeah.
I have so many thoughts.
But the description of the frog clambering over the daughter's legs to get in between his legs is just like,
I know.
literally like I was cringing as I was reading this. I was like,
cringing, but then I'm also like, what did he do?
The last story is called Good Fences Make Good Neighbors. Now,
Wait, whoa. So that's how the other story ends? Mm-hmm. He in between her legs and that's it? Or his legs and that's it? Mm-hmm. Okay, keep going.
Yep.
Daniel,
Well, and I'm on the last one too.
Daniel, you're an enigma.
Right? Edward Nigma. So Good Fences Make Good Neighbors. That's the title of the last story. It's based on The Fisherman and His Wife by the Grimm brothers and Frog and Toad Are Friends. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, this one I had to reread. So the fisherman essentially catches a magical flounder that promises him whatever he desires if he lets it go. So he lets it go and goes back to his cabin where he and a friend are staying there. Now, his friend demands that, because he didn't bring back any food for the table, demands that he at least uses what the flounder's promising him, and he says, go ask for a bigger house. So because he wants more space for them. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the fisherman goes back out to the fish, asks for a bigger house, and they have it. And they describe the house, and it's very pretty and all this stuff. But then the friend of the fisherman is like, well, now we have this bigger house. We need nice, well-to-do, attractive friends to fill it. And so he goes back out and he asks for attractive friends. From there, the friend essentially abuses the fisherman in a way where like now they have attractive friends, and the fisherman is just there. Like it like from what I gathered, it was like the friend didn't care about the fisherman at all. It was very much an abusive relationship that they had, and it was a very extremely toxic situation. And so after they have these new friends in this bigger house, the friend of the fisherman then asks that the fisherman goes and asks for a second house so that the fisherman can then move out and live in his own house, because the friend is claiming that the fisherman doesn't appreciate all he does for him, or that the friend is claiming that the fisherman doesn't appreciate all the things that his friend does for him. The fisherman doesn't want to be without his friend, so he goes and he kills the fish and guts it instead, so that the fish can't grant any sort of wish where he has to move away from his friend. So
the poor fish.
Yeah, I know, right? And that's pretty much it. And he goes back to the house, and he's feeling ill because he killed the fish. And his friend, to make him feel better, starts banging his head against a wall. So then the fisherman is like, I feel better. And the friend's like, good, because now I feel like shit. Go make me tea. And he's like, don't give me any of that old crap. Make it fresh. And so then the fisherman goes and makes tea and brings it to him, and the friend's asleep. And that's how it ends. And it's just like,
wow.
Yeah. And it was just like very much like, damn, like
that's real. That's like,
it's a toxic relationship.
It's a toxic story, and it's sad to say, but that probably is a real thing for some people.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's awful.
Absolutely. They're made to feel like they have no value, even though they like, the way I see it, the fisherman can literally give his friend anything his friend wants. And he does that.
And it won't be enough.
Exactly. And it's never enough for the friend. Exactly. And I hated it. But anyway, so that's the end of the book. That's all of the short stories. I'm sorry to you listeners about my retelling or my summary of a couple of these stories. They were a little off. So I would say like the best part of this book is that the gender roles were subverted and they were swapped. I loved how some of the stories did not rely too heavily on their source material. But I also think that that's kind of something that I didn't like, because a few of the stories were really hard to follow, only because they had different inspirations, kind of. So like melding it all together into one narrative kind of seemed a little...
like the Goose Girl one.
Yeah, it was very weird. So
like, I understand wanting it to be different, but it was so different that it just didn't seem...
Yeah.
Part of the or like it was alluding to the story.
Yeah, it was very weird. It was very weird. So, and that's, I listed that. So like, especially like the wedding party, which is the Goose Girl one. Some friends are threatening Mr. Toad. That one, that could have been a great story. And part of it was a great story, but like, I really was confused about, Mr. Toad was just, his whole demeanor and like just Mr. Toad in the whole story to me was very confusing. And then good fences make good neighbors, which is that last one. So I actually had to reread all of those stories twice, just because they did seem a little disjointed, and thematically they're very hodgepodge. So that I would say that's it was good that some of the stories didn't rely too heavily on source material, but then it was also a negative in some other stories. Yeah. So I would say what I learned from the book is that I probably should read up on source material and fairy tales before I read the retellings, because again, like, probably why I had a hard time understanding some of these stories is because I didn't understand the initial or the source, where they came from, like the inspiration.
I mean, that probably helped you though, because it probably gave you a different perspective. Because I own... I think they're 3rd edition copies of Grimm's Fairy Tales.
Yeah.
Because I've read them my whole life. I know all of the original stories. So when I was going through my book, it was much harder for me to pick one, because I was sitting there thinking like, well, this one isn't really good enough because like the original's so much better. So I think it was probably better for you that you hadn't read them, because it gave you a different perspective to enjoy the book a little bit more. That's just my opinion. I obviously haven't read it yet, but...
Yeah. And then also, like, as for like, did I learn any new words? Because I love.
I know you love those words.
Yeah, I love words. Shriving was a good word. That came from the second story, the one about the thankless child.
Do you know what it means?
Yeah, I mean it means to confess and to present yourself for confession and stuff like that. I did have to look it up though.
Hashtag shriving, like hashtag thriving.
Stop. In general though, I did really admire the wordplay between characters. Now, as far as which characters I liked the best or least, I did not like David from the wedding party, the groom, because he was whiny to me. He was very whiny. He also, at one point, Allison, his betrothed, is kind of like making fun of him in a way while they're still in bed and he's hungover and stuff. And she's talking about the Goose Girl story and she's kind of teasing him, and he grabs her by the wrist and hurts her he grabs her wrist, and she's like saying, "You better not have left a mark because I'm not going to be wearing gloves at the wedding. Like, I don't want, like, you could just not grab me, you know?" And so I just, to me, like, I really did not.
That sounds like the beginnings of like an abuser.
Yeah, I did not connect well with him at all. And he complained about the fact that her best friend wouldn't loan her money when she was down and out on her luck. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. I just didn't like him. And then again, like, how does this book compare to others? I'm not super familiar with the original work for some of them. I did connect with like the ones that I did understand, like The Little Mermaid, Cinderella, Velveteen Rabbit. The Little Mermaid and Velveteen Rabbit, though, like those stories, they had just the right amount of like gruesome, like malevolence to them, like macabre, like feel. So I really enjoyed those. So, and like I said at the beginning, I would recommend this book to listeners. Absolutely, it's an interesting, if nothing else, a very interesting read. And I also like, let's spotlight queer artists. 100%. I mean, like
stan queer authors, artists, whatever.
Yeah. Like, if I could separate the stories, I would recommend some and discard the others, but the work as a whole is very good. So,
yeah. I mean, the reason why I had toyed with the thought of doing this book, the book that you did, was because a lot of the summaries that I had read really intrigued me.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm going to read it because I have it on my iPad. So I'm definitely going to be reading it once you leave.
Do it. Yeah, do it. It's really good.
But I had no idea about the transgender author. That makes me want to read it even more, because especially after you telling me that all of the gender switches and, changing pronouns, that's so awesome. Yeah. And you don't see that very much in literature.
Like, honestly, at all, almost. Like,
almost
I feel
not
like,
at all. And that's amazing.
But I think that could also just be my own, like, exposure has been very narrow, which is almost part of the reason why we're doing this podcast, is so that we can broaden our own minds, because like there's so much out there that I have never read, never heard about, and then exactly, like, I was doing my show notes for this episode and I was getting ready to say, oh yeah, The Merry Spinster by so-and-so. And then I was just like, okay, let me do a little bit of research about the author. And then was like, oh shit, like that's the name on the cover is a dead name. And from what I understand, I think Daniel, I don't actually know. I don't know this person, but I would say that, they probably would appreciate not being called by their dead name. And
no, like, I don't want to bring that up.
But there are articles that have been published in the last year that have part of his dead name on there. So I don't really know,
Yeah.
But it's not for me to decide or to say. So
yeah,
I just want to do as much justice as I can to the artist and to the book itself, because like I said, it was a great book. So you should definitely read it, Cobi. It's really good.
You had the better book this time.
Yeah.
Shit.
I did more research this time too. I'm growing.
I mean, I tried to do some research. George Frost was not very present on social media. Probably because he
there's
was from
reason.
the 90s. So,
oh my God. All right. Well, so I think that about wraps up this episode. And do you want to tell them what our next theme is going to be?
Our next theme, and I'm so pumped about this. I'm so fucking pumped.
We're doing serial killers, guys.
We're doing serial killers.
I'm so pumped. I don't love serial killers. Not like that. I like learning about serial killers. And boy, it's going to be a doozy.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm interested to see what you picked. I definitely went a weird way with my choice. So I think that you'll really like what I have. I
went out of my way to pick something that not a lot of people know about, but it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because like you said earlier, we're doing this podcast to like learn new things. So I didn't want to do like John Wayne Gacy, which everybody knows the story about John Wayne Gacy. So
well,
I want to do something different.
I chose a book that I'm just going to throw it out there now. I did choose a book that I read before because I had read it in high school, but I remember loving it so much so that I actually gave a copy of it to my brother as a wedding present because it was such a good book. I know.
Story about serial killers to give to your brother.
Yeah, that's
my
true.
God, that's a little fucked.
It's out of context though, because you don't know what book it is, but
Okay.
I'm just trying to drum up some anticipation.
Some suspense. But anyway, so we're doing serial killers next. If you're really into serial killers and want to learn some stuff, tune in. Because I'm excited. I'm really excited about this one.
All right. Well, until next time, guys. Folks. Until next time, folks.
Bye.
Alrighty, Rooster. Well, man, that sounded like a great episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And you know what's better than 4 stars? 5 stars. So why don't you go and give us a 5-star rating if you liked us so much. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at BoafCast. That's BoafCast, or Facebook at Booked on a Feeling. You can also reach out to us at bookedonafeeling@gmail.com to give us book suggestions, say hello, say what's up. And also, if you really did like what you heard, we also have a Patreon just for y'all awesome listeners who want to help us keep the lights on. And that is at patreon.com/boafcast. On Patreon, we have a lot of extra goodies, and you can find all of our social media links and a link to our Patreon on our website, bookedonafeeling.com. Until next time, Cory out.